been well recognised now for a long time that there's a minority who drink irresponsibly and do very serious harm to themselves and to others around them. So government, industry, the voluntary sector, they all have got a mission in order to try to combat that misuse.
It's been about the promotion of educational opportunities for young people in a non-formal sense. So in other words, out of school, entirely voluntary engagement by young people, everything really designed to help young people achieve their potential.
According to statistics, the alcohol-related harms do fall more heavily on disadvantaged sections of the population. But that it doesn't mean that comfortable middle-class people are immune from alcohol abuse, because it's obviously not true.
I think when you're younger, and it's like they're saying, oh, you can't drink or you can't smoke or you can't do this, that's when you're more determined to do something just to do it because you can't do it.
They have this let's go out and get trashed mentality at a very young age, 18, 19, 20, let's go out and get trashed.
If you're a young person and you drink too much, you very quickly lose control of your ability to make rational decisions, and that can have absolutely disastrous consequences.
One of my friends drinks every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then like a couple of times through the week. And it's like, there's no matter how much you tell her, she just won't listen.
I've seen a few people in the lessons and drunk and they just sit there giggling.
People drink though because they get bored. On a Friday or Saturday night, like if you're with all your friends or whatever, and you got nothing to do, you do get bored. So you think, oh yeah, well, get drunk or whatever.
If you drink to get drunk, it's often because there's a gap, there's a lack of other activities.
It's embarrassing to think that there's some people in our year who need it and that are alcoholics.
There's probably as many young people who suffer from that culture and wish it didn't happen, and it spoils their Friday or Saturday night because they're in a group and one of their friends gets overly drunk. They then have to look after the friend. If they're in a peer group that is seeking to sort of just go and have one more, and in a culture that's encouraging just one more, then you need some pretty strong personal skills to be able to say no.
We wanted to create something that would exist out there in the youth work field for young people, and something which would be very interactive for them. The DrinkawareChallenge is a positive step forward because it asks people to engage with the information. They've got to find out things for themselves. They're going to pass it on to other young people. So it's taking it one step further. It's a much more active, much more participatory form of learning.
It is about helping young people develop the skills, the knowledge and appropriate attitudes and behaviour to manage their lives.
I'm the youth worker at Intake High School and I work for a BEST team, which stands for Behaviour and Education Support Team. So we work with young people that might be at risk of exclusion, might be having difficulties at home. What we do with our young people is take a really holistic approach with them and look at areas of their life that need to be looked at by them rather than us telling them.
You have to have a holistic approach. You have to have you can't just take a single issue approach. You can't just campaign on one single aspect.
We're currently doing a healthy eating course, and then we'll be moving on to sexual health, and then we're coming to the drugs and drink areas. If we get a relationship with them, then in the past, and thankfully it's worked, they have come forward and asked for help.
Because it's not delivered by teachers, the kids seem to be more receptive to it, and because they're more receptive to it, they do achieve more.
Try to re-engage them back into learning, feel that success that they can achieve in school and try to engage them.
Some of the groups Jane works with have got reading ages of less than 8, and they may be 13, 14, 15-year-old. But the way, particularly the UK Youth Award work comes across, is very open to all abilities.
Just sort things out in different ways, you do different things. It's more better, makes me more happy.
You feel like you're achieving something as well.
I'm not going to stand here as they never drink, because that's just going to go, not going to listen to it.
It's like teachers say don't drink and you're like, well, why?
If you
why
read,
shouldn't I? Don't
yeah.
do drugs, why? But then from this you get the effects. And they say it might feel good at the time, but if you get like addicted to it, then you do start feeling depressed. But with teachers, it's like, oh, don't do this, don't
When
do
you've
that.
heard it so many times, you don't pay attention to it anymore.
If that person's like acts like you and similar to you, then you seem to listen more because you can relate to them.
Yeah.
You learn what it can do to you and what it does do to you. My sister got killed by a drink driver. Matter of fact, I will never drink drive.
If you say to them, let's look at it and let's work around what's making you drink. If it is you're bored, what else is there to do? Would you go to a club? Would you go get movies out? Do you know, give them alternatives to the drinking rather than don't just do it. Look at the reason why. You know, the drinking might be the tip of the iceberg. They really connect with it and it brings it to life. And you've got to be engaging with them, otherwise it's just they're planning what they're going to wear on Saturday night, do you know what I mean? And you can see it not connecting in the heads, but you can, when it's a different approach sometimes, you can see it click. This is the information that you need to know to make the choices about your own life, because it is theirs, you can't change it for them, even though sometimes you might want to pick them up and put them in the car and take them home and wash them or whatever. You can't do that, they've got to make their choices for themselves.
Media is actually a great way to develop certain key skills like communication, improving your own learning, because it's about finding out things for yourself and then presenting what you've learnt to others. It's media with a purpose, and that purpose is to raise young people's self-esteem. We've done a lot of work with cannabis, and I think that's one of the reasons why we've now become involved with the Drinkaware Trust.
We are doing alcohol video, and basically the idea is to address the issue of young people drinking, but from a sort of young people's point of view. How can they perhaps suggest ideas to their friends and so on about how to cope with alcohol?
I think if you actually involve young people in problem solving rather than just saying they're a problem and we have to deal with them, you're going to get better results.
We have a sort of very informal way of addressing this issue. Although in theory we are the teachers, but there is not really that separation. So young people are more free to sort of say things and express themselves and exchange opinions.
If we're talking about alcohol, there is a concern, there is an issue. Tell us about your experiences, tell us about your feelings, tell us about your ideas. You know, let's find a way of presenting that in a way that other young people can learn from it. And then you're not talking down.
Some people, they may listen more if it's someone their own age and they've had the experience and they're telling their story about it.
I remember when I was at school and the videos were like 10 years, 20 years old and really, really bad, and if adults in them, and we ignored it. Whereas this is this is what happens with alcohol. You know, if you're not careful, you will end up like this. And I think it's a lot more approachable, and it's not as black and white, which I think kids don't respond to as much as people think they do. They respond more to the grey area.
I've had some really, really good results with young people that would just never have achieved or have flourished as much as they have in a traditional environment. You know, some of them, they're really, really talented, but not necessarily traditional academically talented.
The more people who know about Drinkaware and who we can share information with, we can help improve the quality of alcohol education significantly. Very significantly.
It can really turn their lives around because it gives them something they can succeed in and be good at and have a career in.
The skills that you can acquire through the Youth Achievement Awards, through the DrinkawareChallenge, those are tremendous skills, very transferable, very valuable skills. You have to start at a young age in order to be able to cure the problem in the long term. I mean, this is a generational issue, and you know, take something like drink driving. It took decades to push it down to the low level that we've got today. It's going to take a similar amount of time with other forms of risky drinking.